Hello, viewer, and welcome back to Games with Dialogue. This is episode 69 of my RPG Maker series. Last time, I continued working on the skill shrine, made it to the second room, the ice floor, and I will be continuing with that and hopefully moving on to room 3. So, let's not waste any more time and dive right in. Okay. As you can see, I've got a few events I've set up here, as well as something on the floor. I think I'll start with the floor here. I set it up so that when the player touches it, they will be transferred to the front of the room, as well as have a fall sound effect. The floors in front of it, I set up with a player touch, set movement root, stepping animation on, one step forward. And this first one here also plays a sound effect. The sound effect lasts about long enough to hit the hole. I haven't set up this line here, this row. I basically copy-pasted one of them, but if I open it up, they all play the sound effect, which doesn't work out too well, at least not the way I had hoped. Also, none of them are set up for player touch. It's all action, which means I can walk right over it. Let me show you how it works in practice, and then we'll figure something out. The problem with the holes being player touch is that they are ground, they are tiles I've set as impassable terrain. So trying to walk on them, nothing happens. You just stop there. I went into the tile sets. See, works just like that. But none of the others are set up, so nothing happens. I had to go into the tile sets and set the holes to be walked over, but that means every other place in the game I have a hole, now the player can walk over it instead of it being an obstacle. So I could go back to those areas and set it up so that they work like normal holes. I mean, not normal holes, but they work the same way this one works, where you fall down and get reset back at the entrance of the map. Or I could try to figure out some way to make the holes stay as impassable terrain and get the event to transfer back to the entrance. So if I come over this way, yeah, see? With the one step forward, it doesn't matter which direction I approach the tile, the event, it'll still move me in that direction one step, which is great, which is fine, which is what I wanted. The problem is the sound effect, right? I don't want a whole row of that. That would be annoying after a while, especially as the player tries to suss their way through the right way to get through here. Having to listen to this over and over and over again would just get annoying after a while. I also want to check the transfer point still works. Right, I didn't set one up there. Okay, but it does work to get out of there. That's the important thing. And the whole fall does work. I'm debating whether or not I want an animation. I'm going to come back in here and edit. I'm debating whether or not I want an animation spinning in a circle or freaking out. But the problem with that is if I go into, I don't think it's actors. I think it would be under character generator. Let me let that load up real quick. There's no way for me to set up like a surprise face on these characters that I know of. There's no way to set up an animation for expression on the sprite. On the face, maybe, but if I try to do let's say surprise, right? If I have the eyes closed, this doesn't change. The battler doesn't change. The world characters doesn't change. If I try something like, let's say mouth, well, that wouldn't really be surprise. Yeah, I guess that'll work. It doesn't change the face on here any. So that might be out of the question. Having them spin in place, or not in place, but as they get shuffled across the ice. It might be possible, because these turns I could do, turn 90, just have them do that as they cross the ice. I'm actually going to attempt to see if that works. So we'll do turn 180. Oh, we'll do turn 180 there. Okay. Okay. And then turn another 180 and see what that looks like. I'm not confident this will look good, but I do want to see what it looks like, because I don't know. Okay, let's see. Aha! Alright. So, yeah, that's not going to work. Great. That's not going to work. Oh, man. At least I know that now, so if I want forced movement tiles in the future, I can have, especially if I have a confusion effect on a tile, I can have the player afflicted with something that changes up their direction by forcing the sprite to turn a certain direction. That's a good thing to learn. I might be able to implement that in the future. Not good for here, not good for what I'm trying to do, but I learned something today, and that's important. Let's see, what can we do? Turn's not going to work. Move isn't going to work. Yeah, I don't think I can get a... Unless I do the forced movement a different way, and then I could have turn still happen. Let me think here. What about... See, I wouldn't mind change image, and then we could have a different... But going, that's just going back to the character builder. We can't... We'd need a separate character image, a separate character sprite to change the image to. I wonder if I... Yeah, I would actually have to build a completely new... Yeah, alright, so that's probably not going to work. Not so is having them spin in place. Yeah, unless I had a way to force the movement in a specific direction, regardless of which direction the character's facing. But that's a little too much work for simply just having them slide on the ground. I'm going to remove the 180. Cut. Okay. Apply. So, how can I get this to work with impassable terrain? I suppose it doesn't have to be impassable terrain. If I just go back through all the different maps and make the holes, drop them back at the entrance of the map, that might work. Where was the Shrine of Battle? Here. This one and this one. I knew I had it in here somewhere. And then make these holes... Well, these holes are impassable, I think. Still. Tile sets. Dungeon. Yeah, I might as well. They still should be impassable. I recall. I could test it. That'd be the simplest way to do it. I want to make sure. Inside? These are all broken. These are impassable. Well, this is the same tile, just inside versus dungeon. I don't know if I... Okay, cancel. Discard changes? Yes. What tile set did I use here? Edit. Dungeon. Okay, so they will wind up being transfer points. Yeah, but really, honestly, that's fine. If they just send the player right back to the entrance of the map. It's certainly an easier solution than finding a way to trigger the event without letting the player step on the hole. Because them stepping on the hole sends them back to the entrance anyways. All right. So I'm going to copy and paste here, and we can test whether or not it... Whoop. No, I don't want it there, because they'll slide into that spot regardless of which direction they hit this statue. They'll slide into that spot, and then when they step off of it, they'll continue to slide. And then we can copy and paste and see if that works. Okay. I don't think I'll have a slide sound effect, so let me edit. I do have a slide sound effect. What about... Oh, no. Do all of them... I copied the wrong one with the slide sound effect. Oh, God. Well, we can see how annoying it will be with multiples in a row instead of just two. All right, fingers crossed it's not terrible, because that's a lot of work. And I don't want to have to go in and remove the sound effect from each one. Honestly, it's not terrible. But it definitely will get annoying as you're trying to go through the entire thing. Good, good, that worked. Okay. Like I said, honestly, the sound effect of the ice sliding doesn't sound terrible. But I really think, it only needs one per line, per row, per column, whatever you want to say. So I'm just going to remove these, and we'll see how it plays out. And then maybe add them back in if it doesn't work. If it sounds not as good as I think it does. But honestly, let's see here. 1, 2, 3. I'll remove this one. Edit. Cut. And edit. Cut. Okay. I'm going to leave this one in just to see what it sounds like, because instead of it going every single step now, it'll be every 3 steps, but it will play twice during the slide. That might not actually work the way I'm hoping it will, but we'll see. Again, it's testing time. We'll see. Okay, so I do like that better. One sound effect for the slide. Yeah, see, I don't like that. I don't like the 2. I don't like how it interrupts in the middle. But I also don't like... I do not like... Well, maybe. Yeah, I don't like the one play either here at the start. How it's just supposed to go through the whole thing. Especially since I cannot turn Let's see, edit. Especially since I cannot edit. I can't stretch the sound effect so that it plays over the course of the whole, like a longer version of it as you slide across the tile. I don't know. It's either play it once at the beginning of the slide, play it every single step, or put it at set intervals across the row or the column. Cancel. In that version, it would be like if I stepped over here and slid across, there'd be like 3 or 4 of the sound effect before we reached the hole or came to a stop, which I don't like. I just don't like. I think I do prefer, if I had to choose between those 3 options, I would choose the one at the beginning and then that's it. The problem, of course, is that this tile is at the beginning if you're going down from this statue. But if I was right here and going across this row, it's right in the middle. Yeah, that's a problem. The best way to do that, then, would just have it be every single step. All right, I'm going to try to have it. All right, I am going to try to have it just on those specific intervals. So it'll play here, it'll play in this middle one. Oh, I got one more to get rid of. Delete. Okay. All right, I think what I'll do is delete, 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 delete. Okay, because those all play the sound effect. I don't want that. We'll do copy. There. Paste. Oh, wait. Yeah, it's going to have to be there. Paste. I don't know if I want the slide here, but if they happen to land at the top of this pillar, they won't slide through it, even though the event on the tile says move 1 step. They'll just stay there. Because there's no sound effect, it won't play, so they'll just be standing there, and then any direction they move, they'll slide again. That's all right with me. The only reason I'm leaving this one blank is because there doesn't need to be one here. They'll slide here, and then there's only 2 ways to go, down or back. All right, let me copy, paste, save, and see how this sounds going across here. Yeah, I don't like it. I don't like it. I don't like the sound effect. Huh, okay. Well, alright. It should be this row here, so let's see how this works. Okay, something wrong there. Something very wrong there. Why did it not... Oh, action button, that's why. Right. Whatever I copied didn't have the player touch set up yet. So all of these ones are wrong. I tried to save myself some time, And I wasn't paying any attention to that. Great. Yeah, fantastic. So all of these are wrong then, right? Okay. Well, let me cancel. I'll fix that in a bit. So we have the sound effect there. Okay, I did get rid of those. We have the sound effect here. All right. And then we have the sound effect here. And then it just travels. So I'm kind of torn. Because no matter what I do, I'm going to have multiples of the sound effect. So should I just put it on every tile? Should I just throw up my hands and give up, or what? What should I do? Maybe I can make... And that might be a little too complicated. I was going to say maybe I can make a variable so that whenever the player steps on the first event in a row or column, like this one, or over here, or right here, it'll make the sound effect. But if they pass through the center of one that should have a sound effect, it won't play because it's not the first one in the column. Might be a little more work than I'm willing to do, but that might be a solution. Let me open up... Yeah, let me open up... let's see here. Set movement root. Maybe I can do... not there. Set... common event. Control variable, right. Okay, so I could go in and set a sound variable or a range. I need the tooltip for this. What is this for? Operates all variables found between two specific numbers. Okay, so I think the range would be, if I was going to do that, the range would be the tile location, right? An X and Y for the map. Operation, right? Variable. I don't need random. Game data. Map ID. That's what I would do. Okay. Right. It wouldn't be a common event. No, I don't think it would be a common event. The variable would be where my character is located, and if it was at these specific spots, it would play the sound effect. That is a lot of work, though. I think it's a heck of a lot better than trying to get every single square to play the sound effect, however. All right, I'm going to work on this row, getting it to work the way I want it to, and then we will go back in and test it. So, I'll see you after the jump. Okay, let's try this again. So we know this works. Okay. We know that works. We know that works. Let's test this one. I wonder if I approach it from... Okay. Okay. So that does work, regardless of whether I'm sliding or not. And now this should work. Yeah, I just... Ugh. Okay. It works. They slide. I just don't like the sound effect playing multiple times like that. Maybe there's a different sound effect that'll work. Maybe that's my problem, right? Maybe there's one that stretches longer or sounds better in rapid succession. So I'm going to come in here. I think I did do extensive research going through all of these and trying to find one that sounds better. And I settled on that one because that's the best one that sounds like slipping on the floor. Okay. Well, what I wouldn't give for that cartoon sound effect of like slipping on a banana peel. So I don't want to subject you guys to going through this whole thing, especially if I fail to find one that works. Liquid? No, of course not. Leak? That's an electrical leakage. That is not the same kind of leakage I was thinking of. I don't know. That might work. But I really don't want to subject you guys to this. Yeah, see, in rapid succession, it just sounds bad. And it would get annoying very quickly. So what I think I'll do is just go through this again, see if I find something that works better for me, and probably won't find it, so I'll have to come up with a solution. I don't want to just remove a sound effect completely. That takes away something from the map. You expect the ice to be slippery, so you expect there to be a sound effect. I just don't want it to be completely silent. That's just boring. So I got to figure out something that'll work. Any suggestions you guys have are greatly appreciated. But for now, I'm just going to look through here. If I can't find anything, I might be able to upload something. Again, like that cartoon sound effect, but I don't know. I could try that variable thing I was thinking of, but I definitely don't want to say that is the way it's going to be. So I'll figure something out. In the meantime, there's something I didn't check that I want to make sure. I want to make absolutely sure I get it right before we move on. Or just before I say everything's working the way I want it to. I want to make sure that if I try to... Okay. If I slide down here, it'll stop. I can't go below this part. Good. Yep, I can step on that. That's fine. I can't get between those. All right. Good. Okay. Good. All right. So everything's working the way I want it to work. It's just a few minor inconveniences. I slide when I want to slide. I get moved on the tiles. The holes work. The pillars function as obstacles like they're supposed to. So that's good. I just need to hammer out a few details for this map. So let's move on to room number 3. What am I going to do with you? I want a timing puzzle. I want something that forces the player to manage not split second, but a timer. Manage a timer. I was thinking of having either switches or buttons or something similar to that throughout the room that have to be pressed in the correct sequence within a certain amount of time from each other in order to get the door over here open. I'm actually going to put... well, no, it'd be an event. And it'd be a door. What would be a good door? One of these gates? Too big. Too big. Sci-fi door? Well, one of this grate here might work. This force field might work. Otherwise, this metal door might work. I mean, we are in an area with a metal floor and puzzles that seem to work on their own. Technology! We could have one of these. I usually use one of these gates for inaccessible areas. Yeah, I'll stick with that. It'll be one of these. The way this thing is designed, though, it looks like it goes to one of those door frames that are... I'll apply, just for now. Looks like one of those door frames that is curved, like one of these two here, right? It doesn't look like it should stand on its own. I'm fine with that, but maybe instead I want to go with one of these. I do have this as a door for the outside of the shrine, right? I did set that up, right? Yeah, right there. Okay. So maybe. We'll see. The point is that the player comes in from over here. So let me... I'll have to actually make a gate over here for this. Do I want one of these, or do I want... Where'd you go? Are you under option B? Where'd you go? I thought I had a neutral... Ah, here we are. Yeah, I do have a neutral one. I could do this. Have them come in here. Have it shut behind them. And then have a timer start. And the player has to figure out the correct sequence of buttons to push. So, if that's the case, I want a bunch of buttons. I'm just going to call them buttons for the time being. I could have a bunch of buttons that don't do anything, right? To throw the player off. So they have to figure out the sequence and then push it in the correct order before time runs out. The problem is, first and foremost, what happens when the time runs out? What's the penalty? Do they get kicked back to the beginning? Because then it's just a matter of trial and error. They can attempt this as many times as they want until they figure out what the sequence is. And then get it run through before the timer runs out. That doesn't really seem like a test to me so much as tedious busy work. If I have a penalty for it, but no clue what the correct sequence is, then I think that makes it too difficult. Them trying to run through, I'm actually just going to put... Let's see what kind of buttons we have. If there's no way to figure out which buttons are supposed to be pushed in what order, then there's no correct way. Nah, that's not what I'm trying to say. There's no way to figure out without trial and error. Then I'm only punishing the players for trying to test it. There should be like a clue or something to let them know this is the correct way. Oh, that's not. I wanted the yellow. There should be a correct way to go through the sequence and then have the player figure out, oh, that's the button I'm supposed to push at that point in time. Or in the sequence, that one goes next. There should be a way for them to figure it out, for it to be a test. Otherwise, it's just, I'm just pushing buttons until something happens. So maybe that's not what I want to do. Because the solution doesn't need to be handed to the player, but there needs to be information given to the player so they can figure out what the correct solution is. Like, for example, let me open up a text box. Well, what I'm going to do is put one of these here, because I like to do that. Where? Here we go. Right there. Okay. And then we'll put a text box right there. Show text. Okay, so what could we say? The sun came after the creation of water. right? Do you follow what I'm saying? Grass was the last to grow. Okay. What would red represent? The earth needed time to cool before water could come. It's just an example, but you see what I'm saying here? Sun's yellow, water's blue, grass is green, earth is red, or hot earth is red. That would give the player a clue how to push the buttons in what order, right? But that's so obvious. I'm not going to go with that. It was just an example. And then to make things difficult, we could have obstacles or a maze, right? Like, let me see here. Okay, that's good, right? So, okay, I'm liking it so far. So the player comes in, blah blah blah. They see the blue thing here. Let's say they read this, right? Then they know that they don't push water first. So they come down here. I'll have this just like that. And then we can have... I don't want to put that there. Let's get rid of that. Okay. Let's say they have to come down and around. So, okay. And then let's say it. Well, I don't want to do that. I want to do that. The way the roof works, it's not going to work. But let's say they come down and around, and then we do this. So they have to come up this way. Okay, sure, fine. So let's say they read this, okay? And they know the sun came after the creation of water, grass was the last to grow. Let's say they figure out the grass is green, right? So they come in here, they come down here, and then they walk up this way. Oh, look, the green button, but I'm not supposed to hit it just yet. So then they have to come down here. The first thing they would have to do is find where each button is, which eats up time, because you have to go to the very end, see where each one is, and then suss out the correct order to push them. Red, blue, yellow, green, which involves traveling back and forth, especially these two here. You have to go all the way back and then all the way here, which eats up time. So I need to make a timer that's long enough for the player to do that. But also a timer that's short enough where they can't just sit there and try to suss it out if it's too complicated for them. Now, of course, I don't want to have them lined up here on the wall like that. That's too easy. Maybe if I moved the blue one down here and the green one right here in the center and put the yellow one against the wall over here. Actually, you know what? That's not a bad idea. Let's see how that looks. Oh, wait. If I'm going to do that, I need to actually have this set up. Oh, that's a problem, isn't it? That's a problem, isn't it? Yeah, because I can't do that. All right, I got it. I know what I'm going to do. Let me just get rid of that. There we go. It was worth a shot, but there we go. Okay, so cut, and we can put green, output green right here, and then yellow, cut, and we can put it, yeah, we'll put it in the corner there. There. That makes it more difficult, because now you got to find, instead of just going along the wall in the back here, you have to search for this one. And I could even have a few lines in the clue here that refer to other colors that don't exist here, right? If I don't want to go with buttons that are decoys or don't do anything, then having colors in the clue that don't exist throws the player off, because there's no button here. But if they find these two colors and they come down and around here, they find two more colors, then they're missing some buttons, but they didn't come up here. So there's got to be a button up here. Then they run up here. No button. They've just wasted a few seconds. A few precious seconds. I could do that. I'm actually thinking that would be a way to make this little test more challenging. Make a maze, put random buttons all over the place of different colors, and then... Oh, wait. Wait a minute. That's not gonna work, is it? It's not gonna work. It's not gonna work. It's not gonna work because there's only 4 color switches. There's only 4 color switches. Well, that's disappointing. Back to the drawing board, I guess. No, it's fine. It's fine. I can still make this a maze and put the 4 switches in there somewhere and leave some dead ends and some red herrings for the player to waste time chasing after. Plus, also, the correct sequence they have to go in. So they'd have to run all the way to the end of this map, or end of the room, to hit the first button, and then come back, and then run back and forth, back and forth, back and forth before time runs out. That could work. I'm not confident about this one. I'm really not. Timing puzzles have never been my strong suit. And this just seems less like a skill challenge than a memory challenge, than a mind, than a knowledge challenge, really. I don't know. I need to workshop this one, for sure. Out of all 4 challenges I have planned for this, Room 3 is the one that needs to be workshopped the hardest, because this just doesn't feel right to me. But regardless, I'm going to end the episode here. We'll work on it. I'll work on it a little bit, see what I can come up with, see if I can make it more interesting than it is now, and finish laying down the events for Room 2. So, until next time, thank you everyone for joining me. Stay safe, and God bless you.